Hey everybody, hope you're doing well and staying safe from this coronavirus. We're in lockdown at the moment in New Zealand, so I can't get up to my workshop and bring you any projects for about another week. So today we're going to do a bit of a bloke's baking session instead. Today we're going to make beer bread on the barbecue. This is a real quick and easy recipe, no kneading, no rising to be done, no yeast. The yeast comes from our beer and our baking soda to rise. So this is perfect recipe to quickly make something, chuck on the barbie in the afternoons or your braai. Safe for kids and pregnant women as the alcohol evaporates out of the bread. And if you guys are in the dog box, it might be a good way to please the missus and maybe get bacon in the bedroom again. So let's start off by going over to the barbecue and heating that up to 180 degrees with the lid down, and then we'll get into the recipe. So for the recipe, super simple, like I said, takes about 5 minutes to put together, and also perfect, no hours of kneading, no rising, and not much cleanup, which is what us blokes like. So these are our base ingredients on this side, and these are our toppings on this side. For the base, you're going to want 3 cups of plain flour. If you're going to use self-rising flour, just leave the baking powder out. 3 teaspoons of baking powder, 2 teaspoons of sugar, 1 teaspoon of salt, and our beer. I like using these darker beers. I find with the lighter ones it doesn't seem to rise as well. We need 375 mils. These are 335s, and we're just going to make up the last 40 mils in water, which is fine. For the toppings, use whatever you like on top of your bread. Leftovers of mint from last night's dinner. For this one, we're just going to go for cheese, shredded cheese on the top. Red onion and pepperoni, olive oil for drizzling, and then just some real nice seasoning on the top. This has got salt, pepper, fennel, sesame seeds. This is a company called Pepper and Me from New Zealand, and they make a whole range of spices and pastes and mint, and we use them for all our food. So let's get cooking. So to get this started, we'll put all our dry ingredients into the bowl first. So our 3 cups of flour, our 3 teaspoons of baking powder, 2 teaspoons of sugar, and 1 teaspoon of salt. As you guys go, if you want, this recipe is pretty idiot proof, so you can put extra things into your dry ingredients like mixed herbs or paprika if you want to change it up a bit. I've tried a few different things and they all work well. It's really for however you guys want it to taste at the end of the day. Mix all of that, just combine it all. Add in your beer. Use it at room temperature, not cold if you can. Doesn't really matter if you don't. Our 335 mils, and then add in our extra 40 mils of water. Make sure the beer goes in there and not down your throat. Now we're just going to stir all of that up to combine it until it forms almost like a runny sticky dough that you can pour into the tin. A couple minutes of mixing and we've pretty much got it how we want. So it's still pretty wet, it's sticky, you definitely can't touch that with your hands and knead it, and that's what you want, almost pourable. Scrape down the sides, back into the middle, and we'll get the cake tin ready for prepping. So just a loaf tin, normal loaf tin. bit of baking paper or parchment paper. And we'll just push that into the tin there. Make sure it's covering all the edges so it doesn't get stuck. And then with our mixed up dough, just pour that in. Scrape it off the sides. Make sure you get it all. And into the middle. And there we go. That's our bread in the tin there. Give it a little shake, get it all evened out. So nice and easy, almost ready to bake and no mess at all. For our toppings, I'm going to chuck my red onion and pepperoni on first. Bit of cheese. But more of our toppings. You don't want to weigh the top down too much or else you might have a problem with it rising, so don't go too overboard. Nice sprinkling of our seasonings on top. And then just a nice drizzling of olive oil over the top as well. So that's all ready to go. We're going to cook this on indirect heat, so that means we have to have our side burners on, but keeping the middle with no heat straight onto the pan. All that's going to do is cook the base of the bread and burn it. So you can see the setup here, we've got our cooking rack up off the plate and just our side burners going. So in she goes. Come back in 40 minutes and it should be looking good. So if your barbecue's pretty old and shit like mine, you might have to check every 10 minutes just to make sure the heat's staying on 180 degrees by turning it up or down. Mine fluctuates all over the place. "40 minutes is up, guys. Time to get this bread off the barbie." And look at that, fucking perfect. Off the barbie, turn your bread out onto a cooling rack, remove the baking paper, and there you have it. Bare bread on the barbecue in under an hour. Let that cool down for 10 minutes before cutting it, and from there eat it straight away, or perfect for toast the next day, or chuck it in the freezer and keep it for as long as you want. So for a recap, this is a real quick prep bread, no rising and no kneading time. Put any toppings on you like, cheese, bacon, even leftovers. 180 degrees on the barbecue, indirect heat, so up off the grill on a cooking tray, and only the side burners on, no heat coming up underneath to burn the bottom of the baking tray. Either cook it in the oven as well, 180 degrees Celsius on bake. Thanks to Chelsea Winter for this recipe. She's a Mint New Zealand chef and baker and well worth the follow. Hope you guys enjoyed a bloke's baking session, and remember to wash those dishes that you chucked in the sink at the start. Next project, we're going to be making some custom timber serving boards, so if that tickles your fancy, definitely give us a follow. Cheers and enjoy the bread.